In today's video, we will talk about how to repot a houseplant. This is part 2 of a previous video, what to do, 5 things to do when you bring your new plant home. Now we're going to repot the Calathea Ctenanthe. Here it is in all of its loveliness. I saw it at the grocery store, thought it was gorgeous. And then I kind of was like, do I really want this plant? And then after like a day or two, I was like, yes, I really do want this plant. I love it. I will enjoy many days with this lovely plant. And so I now don't regret getting it. Now let's repot it. So it's currently pretty wide in a wide 6-inch container. This might even be a 7-inch container, but I'm gonna move it up to an 8-inch one just to give it some room to breathe. So the first thing I'm gonna do is grab some potting mix. I like this Jiffy potting mix. It's natural and organic. It works very good for other plants that I've repotted in the past. And I really think that it's gonna be just fine with this one because the soil doesn't dry out that quick. It kind of holds moisture pretty good, this potting mix. And this plant, we don't want we don't want it to dry out really fast because Calatheas like moist. They like to keep the soil moist, so if they like dry out, they really just start fussing with you. And there are plenty of other YouTube videos regarding Calatheas, and I am sure I will do some too, but how sometimes they're fussy, but they're really gorgeous plants. And if you're committed to plant parenting, then just, hey, be committed to learning and growing with the plant, because they may not act right, they may give you trouble, but hey, if you want it and you love it, just be committed to taking care of it. And so that's what I've decided to do with this plant. So I'm going to pot this. As I'm potting this in the 8-inch container, I am going to fill it to about 1/3 of the way full. Maybe about 1/3, yeah. We'll say that's really not that much. And then I'm going to pull this one out gently out of its current container. The last time I looked at it, the roots were really, really thick and wrapped around. Look at these roots. Like, this is the sign of a really healthy plant. These roots look really good. So I'm going to gently feel around the plant. I'm gonna be gentle and dusting off some of this soil off of the top. Just gently tap that off. And I'll tell you all a story while I'm doing this. I had this other Calathea, the Rufibarba, and I'll show you a picture of it. It was gorgeous. I saw it here in Houston at Randall's, and I was like, wow, this plant is gorgeous. I have to have it. So I had it and it was doing great. It put out like 10 leaves, I want to say. It put out a lot of leaves in the time that I had it. And then one day I kind of noticed like the underneath of the leaves were greening, and they used to be purple. The foliage was gorgeous. It had this purple underneath, and the top of it was like fuzzy a little bit, and it started like fading out some. And I was like, okay, I think it's time for me to repot this plant. And then I decided to repot it, and it pretty much was still looking the same not long afterward, or I guess a little bit of time afterward. And so then I looked at it really closely one day, and I saw like this web on it, and I was like, no, spider mites got to it. So I took it outside, I sprayed it down, rubbed some neem oil on the leaves, and left it in the back of my husband's truck, it had a cover on it so it wouldn't be like sunburned by the sun. But if you're in Texas and you know this heat, you can't leave stuff outside long. So guess what I did? Yeah, I forgot about it. I left it outside too long, and I went back to check on it and the leaves were toast. So I was like, man, I just ruined a beautiful plant. But you know what? I try not to beat myself up over it, because sometimes things happen when we're plant parents, I say, plant lovers, because we have our own lives. We are busy, and you know, we're working on other things. And so, you know, if a plant happens to die on you, like, don't feel bad. Like, just say, hey, you know what, it happened, and I'll try not to let it happen again. I'll try to give it what it needs so it doesn't happen again. Alrighty, so I got the soil. I got some soil off of the top of this plant. Thank you for listening to that story, by the way. So I got some soil off of the top of this plant, and I'm really being careful not to irritate or disturb the roots, because I don't want to do any damage to this lovely plant. I want it to continue on and to thrive in its new home here with us and the new environment here. So I am going to just get off some of this at the bottom. It's a little bit tough. Prayer plants are lovely. What I like about prayer plants is they kind of rise up at night or in the evening when they're losing the amount of light that they need in a day. And then in the day, in the morning, they kind of open back up again. And so they have this like visual phenomenon that just makes them so relaxing to look at, other than the fact that they're like pretty boy or pretty girl plants, whichever one you think your plant is. Is your plant a male or a female? It's whatever you want it to be, really. No plant gender here. So yeah, all right, so this is the best that I'm going to pick with this one. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. I'm going to go ahead and place it in this new pot. All right, so I filled this container up with some good soil, and it went a size up into an 8-inch container. It was previously in, I would say, a 6.5-inch plastic pot. It had a lot of roots surrounding the ball of the plant, so it was definitely ready for another size up. We carefully inspected the roots and pulled some of the extra unnecessary soil off from the mother nursery pot, and we placed it in this brand new pot. It is good to go. This soil is actually pretty moist already, so I'm not going to worry about watering it for now, but I am going to check back on this plant in a few days. That is one of the things I like about this soil, is it comes kind of moist already, so you don't have to water the pot. You don't have to water the plant right away. You can get away with avoiding watering for a few days and allow the plant to kind of get used to the new home. The next thing to do once your plant is in its new pot is to place it in the ideal location in your home. So this is a lower to medium light plant. It cannot go in direct light, so I'm not going to place it in the window of a west, east, or south facing window. I'm going to place it several feet back, so I'm probably going to place it about 4 feet or 3.5 meters, 4 feet away from the window, and allow it to have indirect light. And so the indirect light, the light that bounces off of the walls in the house, the plant is going to receive. And right now it's kind of darker in the day, so the leaves are up. So later on, well, tomorrow morning, the leaves are going to open back up, and it's going to look like a lovely, beautiful Calathea Ctenanthe prayer plant. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.